find anyone. Where is it?
Greetings and welcome to Arby's Kitchen Talk. I'm so happy that you have tuned in and that you will watch this broadcast. It's going to be spectacular, I can promise. These ladies that you see before you have joined me in their kitchen, and we are glad that you have joined us. So now let me ask you, ladies, what masterpiece of a meal did you prepare? What's for dinner?
Right now, I have ice cubes and water.
I have pizza ordered.
You got pizza? So you didn't cook?
No.
Oh gosh, these 21st century women. Anybody else prepare a nice meal? Or you did takeout?
Leftovers.
Leftovers?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, I you know what I had? I had Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A. Okay. And it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad.
That's my go-to.
Look who has joined us. Rupa. Hey.
Hi, everyone.
Hello.
How's it going?
Everything's going really well, really well. We were just asking each other. Well, I was asking what you had for dinner. What was for dinner?
Oh, I made some tacos.
Oh yes, Cinco de Mayo today.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I had to
That's right. That's right. And I heard about that on the way in. So the whole history behind it. So okay, looks like someone dropped off. Shavana's coming on. I'm sure she may be having some technical difficulties. No worries. Okay, so the kitchen this is Arby's Kitchen Talk.
Somebody's volume might be up. I think somebody's volume might be up a little loud. It's getting a little echo.
Okay, is that good? Is that better? Looks like it. Okay. So my kitchen is my hangout space. It's always been the place where, the kids did their homework, and of course we had meals. And I don't know, I love dancing. I always have dancing in my kitchen. Tell me about your kitchens. Are they special? Do you do anything in particular in your kitchen? What does their kitchen mean to you?
It means I'm hungry.
For my family, it's always been the place of gathering.
Exactly.
That's always what we do in the kitchen. That's where all of us always end up.
I know, and it's not always the most comfortable place either, right? Because
I don't like too many people being in my space while I cook, but I absolutely love to cook. So that's why I was a little ashamed when you asked what I was having for dinner. I didn't make anything tonight.
Oh,
it's therapeutic for me. My kitchen is where experiences happen. I experiment, and I enjoy the kitchen a lot.
Okay, all right, that's good. That's good. All right, well, listen, we are in for a treat tonight, and the topic is girls like me. So I'm still hearing something, right?
Yeah, I hear something too. I don't think it's me.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to start the sentence off. The topic again is girls like me. Ready?
Yes.
Girls like me are
phenomenal.
Phenomenal. Excellent. Okay, good. Anybody else?
Whoa, that's a hard one to follow.
All right, let's try girls like me never. Girls like me never.
Never.
Mm-hmm. All right, let me get him moving. Let's see. Quit.
Okay, yes.
Right? Let's see. Girls like me never betray a trust.
Oh, I see. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
That was just multiple choice right here.
Right.
No multiple choice. Just finish the sentence. Let's go to need. Okay.
Okay.
Girls like me need
honesty.
Good. What else?
Love.
I like that.
Empathy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I like that too. All right, let's see. Girls like me want
Understanding. Compassion.
Mm-hmm.
Grace.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
To be respected.
Yes.
Yeah.
Loyalty.
Accountability. That's
Okay.
a good one.
So we want accountability. That's good. In what sense? How? Oh. Mhm. How so?
Oh, to give you an example.
Yeah.
So on this journey of self-awareness that I've been on for the past 7-8 months or so,
Mm-hmm.
I'm starting to notice when someone else's accountability is kind of lackluster, or is just it doesn't exist. Because and I'm not by any means saying that, oh, I get everything right, yada yada, but because I know that I'm actively and intentionally putting so much effort in choosing my words wisely and being intentional about like how I make someone feel, or what I'm aware of, or how I apologize or whatever. And when that's not met, it's like reciprocity would be nice, or self-awareness from your part would be nice, and I would require someone else to hold me accountable too, so not just demanding it from somebody else, but for accountability on
I
both
like
ends.
that. I like this. You in, right? You're in? Everyone is in?
Yes.
Okay.
Hello.
Hello, everyone. Excuse my tardiness.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi, Kadam.
Welcome. Yeah.
Welcome.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see here. Okay. How's that? I don't know. That better? That looking good?
Yes,
Okay.
you
All right.
see everyone there.
Can we see everyone?
Siobhan.
Okay. Okay. Let's see. Okay. Looks like everyone's here. Okay. All right. So that was really good. I like that because I agree too. I agree with that accountability piece too. What about transparency? That
Yeah,
kind of lines up
it
along.
aligns. Yeah, that aligns too.
Yeah. Okay. So we were talking about girls like me, which is the topic for today. And so girls like me, we said, want to be respected, empathy. We need, what were some of the things we said we needed? I forget.
Love,
um
understanding.
Empathy and grace,
Hmm.
loyalty,
Compassion.
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 Yeah.
Yeah. And we were talking, we kind of got stuck on girls like me, never. Something that we never do. We kind of got stuck there.
Mm.
Help us out.
um
I
mm,
thought of
I
quick.
don't believe we
Okay,
really
girls,
want to admit we're wrong.
girls like me never settle.
Ooh,
I like
ooh,
that.
oh, I like that. I like that. What did you say, Kadat? I don't want to overlook that.
I was saying maybe girls like me don't really want to admit when we're wrong.
Okay,
Mhm.
okay. You heard that
Yeah.
in my voice, but you know, we
No.
gotta be
At least
honest.
me. It's girls like me.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Don't
I
like to
don't
admit
really
when
like to
we're
admit
wrong.
when I'm wrong.
Yeah, but I think the good thing is that we may not like it, but eventually we do, right? Right?
Right.
Yes.
Because it's the accountability part that I was talking about.
Yeah,
Mhm.
There you go.
exactly. So, all right. So we've got a nice warm up. Everyone's feeling comfortable. So let's go a little bit deeper. Okay, everyone's here.
I think we lost Shavana again.
Shavana, yeah. Okay. All right. Let me see here. Okay, so let's dig a little bit deeper now. And we're going to play a version of Jeopardy, but you don't have to say the question. Okay? You don't have to say the question as your answer. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make a statement and then you'll finish it. But there are 4 categories. Okay, so you might want to write them down. Rupa and Kadada, just in case you forget. But if you got a great memory, like I used to have, you don't have to. But
Yes.
the 4 categories are my truth, my challenges, my loves and relationships. And with that, it could be an interest of yours, or it could be a personal relationship, or your relationship with God. And then the last one is my challenges. So my truth, my loves and relationships, my career, and my challenges. And so you'll select, and the good thing about this is that you've got to select a question under for each of those categories. So you can't just stick with one category. Okay. So you've got to go to every category, and I will make a statement and then you'll finish it. Okay. So you pick the category. Okay, don't jump come on.
Okay, my career.
My career. Thank you,
Yeah.
Kadada. All right.
Oh, it was time for us to choose. I'm so sorry.
It's okay. My career. Here's your question. I focus on.
I focus on education in hopes of advancing my career.
Nice. Nice. That's good. That's real good. All right. Who wants to go next? Yeah. Well, before we do that, so where are you trying to go? Kadada.
So hopefully I want full admission as a professor at a university. So that's why I'm finishing up my doctorates right now.
Okay.
That is my ultimate goal, is to be a full tenure professor.
Wow. That's awesome. Awesome.
Yes.
Awesome. I knew Kadada when she was like, yay. All right. Who wants to go next?
I'll go next.
Okay, Diane.
My love relationships.
Okay.
That's plural, correct?
I'm sorry?
That's plural, right?
Yes. So
Okay.
here's the question. My greatest joy is.
My greatest joy in just being. Life is so precious to me. It's part of my testimony, which in 1988, I was given the diagnosis that I had a year left to live. And this year I turned 70. So God allowed me to live, and life is very precious to me.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Awesome. That's awesome. Does anyone hear an echo still?
Yes.
Yeah, I hear it. I hear it now.
You know, that echo may be me because I'm in 2 places. I think I'm going to go all the way out and try to come all the way back.
Okay. So your greatest joy is.
No, it's still there.
Diane, can you mute your phone real quick?
I think it might be not to call you out at all, Rupa, but I noticed it when you first came in. I don't know if it's your volume, because I noticed that it will go down if you mute, but we don't want anyone mute the whole time.
No.
Okay, I'm gonna get some headphones to see if that helps.
Okay. Yeah, and I'll put mine on too.
Thank you.
So what is your greatest joy, Diane? I know that your greatest joy is that you are still alive.
Yes.
God is continuing to bless you.
Yes, he is.
Okay. All right. Great. All right. Who wants to go next? Cal.
Oh, she's muted. You're muted, Cal.
Cal, you're muted. Okay. Kiara.
Yes. So my truth.
Oh, good. Okay. Are you ready?
Yes.
The fact is.
Oh, the fact
is.
That's the statement, not the question.
Uh-huh.
The fact is that I'm becoming the me my younger me would want me to be at this age. So at the stage that I'm in my life currently, I think my younger me would be pretty proud, and I'm proud about that. So
Wow, that's really profound. I like that. That was
thank you.
really nice.
That was deep. That was
Yeah,
deep.
yeah,
Thanks.
good. All right, who's next? Rupa.
Ooh, I was hoping you'd pick me. Can you hear me okay now?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. Let's go with my challenges.
Okay. My past has made.
Mm.
It's made me stronger and made me think more logically and less emotionally.
Mm.
Hmm. So
Yeah.
was there one instance that, or was it just a culmination of things?
I think there was, one particular instance where I felt like, I led with my emotions, and, some consequences came. And that's where I really thought, I need to start thinking more logically and just going where, like, this is where I'm immediately happy, and thinking about, long-term things and really thinking things through. So, I mean, I think you need some of those consequences in your life, or just even just actions in your life to help build your, day and how you're going to respond moving forward.
Yeah, that's nice. It's something about age. There's nothing that you can do
Mhm.
about learning until you get to a certain point, and no matter what experience you go through, it's not until you reach a certain point in your life that it all kind of comes together. And
Oh, and
age.
I'm stubborn too, Miss Co. So, someone may have tried to teach me, while I was younger, but, I'm hard headed. So I think, I wish I would have listened a bit more too when I was
Yeah.
younger.
I call that divine alignment though, because sometimes I feel like if we did something too soon, then we wouldn't get the full experience or the full lesson from it. And I'm a firm believer that I believe in God obviously, but I'm a firm believer that He's going to try to teach us whatever lesson it is in whatever way or however many times He needs to until we get it. So sometimes, like, even though we like experience stuff at a younger age, or we wish we had a sooner, I'm really grateful that the experience was still the experience, because the route would have probably been completely different had it transpired at a different time.
That's so real. That's so real.
That is
Shabana, you know what? The sun is coming in, and we can't see you. All right. I mean, you ladies are just awesome.
Thank you.
And
Really?
Sierra,
Yeah.
I just want to piggyback off of what you were saying. I had my son at 19 years old, and he was not expected. And I actually tell people that he saved my life, because I could have went a totally different route. It wasn't ideal for me to have a child at 19,
Right.
but he definitely stopped me from doing a lot of things that a lot of other 19 or 20 or 21-year-olds
Right.
would have done. So I
Yep.
understand that divine intervention. Like,
Yep.
I needed him to propel me on this path
Yes.
of making sure I show him you can go to school. Like, everything I've been doing was, because I've had this son now that I needed to set an example for.
Right.
So it may not have been ideal situation, but it was definitely my divine purpose.
Right. Right. I just recently started understanding why parents will sometimes tell their kids, like, "I thank you for choosing me," and I'm like, "What does that even mean? Like, they just ended up here. Like, they didn't choose you." But that is the truth. That is very much the truth.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Another truth
Yes.
is that everything that we go through has a purpose.
Yes.
When we go through it, we may not feel that way,
Mm-hmm.
but
Absolutely.
later we will see. And it's like I look at all of you, and you are all so young. And, I'm a great grandmother.
Oh wow,
So
that's a blessing.
I'm in another season. But your whole life is precious. Everything everything. Having children, there are no mistakes in life. There's just possibly wrong choices that you make for yourself.
Mhm.
But then you don't stay there. You continue to keep going. You keep your head up high and you know who you are, then you can make it and do anything that you want. Don't
Exactly.
ever give up
Amen.
and don't ever stop.
That's right. Awesome. Awesome.
Mhm.
Cal, what about you? Which category?
Let's say my challenge.
Okay. All right. I didn't think
No,
I
change
could.
that. I want to change
Okay.
to my relationship.
Yeah, okay. All right. I'm not perfect, but
I'm willing to work at it.
Mhm.
You
okay.
know, that's me. I work at everything. You
Mhm.
know, nothing is easy. And I find that when you really want something, it'll come if you work at it. Doesn't come easy though.
Yeah. I
Mhm.
think all of us, I mean, Kadada, you're in school and you're working and all of that, and none of it, and you have children. And but you're not doing it alone because you have a husband,
Absolutely.
right?
Mm.
But even with that, it's a lot.
It
It's
is. And I'm also an adjunct professor also for the University of Mount Olive. So I'm doing that also. And it's almost like you want to tackle it all and realize your schedule is just a little too compact where you might have to be like, you know what? I can't be superwoman and
yeah,
it's okay.
yeah.
And I think I've gotten to that point where I'm ready to now let some things go because I've accomplished them. And it's like, okay, I think I can let these things go now.
So, Cal, when you said that you're working on it, how have you been working on it for a while? Have you had some highs and lows? You know, what have you been learning?
Take your time. You
Mhm.
know, take your time because life is not guaranteed. I watch my mother, has dementia now. And even though I I want to
Yeah.
speed and do everything for her. And,
Hmm.
you can't, that's what I'm learning. I'm still learning it. I'm in it.
Yes.
I'm in the midst of it,
Yeah.
and try and work, not trying, but working at the same time. So,
Yeah.
Can I say something real quick, Cal?
Sure.
yes.
It's just so crazy how God works. So this is my journal. So I'm actually using my journal as my notebook today to write down my stuff. And I stopped in the middle of my workday earlier, and I journaled at like 1 o'clock. And so my mother suffers from depression and anxiety. And I
Mm.
wrote in my journal today, and it just made me think about your mom having dementia, and you're trying to juggle so much that I'm noticing that because I'm trying to show up for her and be, an ear for her and whatever, like just be a daughter to my mom. I'm realizing in moments where she's experiencing trials that I'm receiving or I'm adopting a lot of those emotions and those feelings, and it can get overwhelming. So
Mhm.
literally in my journal, I it was partially a prayer of saying that I want to remain empathetic, and I want to continue to exude grace and be open to being a support system without adopting like so many of the feelings and the
Yeah.
the, the tasks that just kind of naturally come with it, without like overexerting my own self and my own spirit. And I
Mm.
don't know why that just poured out and onto the pages, but maybe it was for this
Because
tonight
you
for me to
know
share
what?
that with you. Yeah, I don't know, but
What you said is me. Like,
right, right, right.
taking sometimes we take on the negativity
Right.
you
And
know,
they don't even mean for you to receive that.
no,
It
but
just
we
kind of
we
comes with
do
it.
because we give our all,
Right.
and sometimes giving your all, you can change hands, and you have to be
Right.
careful not to. That's what I see with
Kind of
myself.
intertwined. Right. Correct.
Yes.
So I just wanted to share
Yeah.
that with you.
Thank
And just
you.
make sure you're showing yourself grace too while trying to extend support.
It's so hard to do that while you're trying to do for somebody
Yeah, I know.
else.
I know.
And
Yeah.
if I could just piggyback off of you, Sierra, Cal, when you were saying that you're striving, I was just going to say that, have you ever thought about just embracing, where you are and whatever flaws you may have? And you might not have to strive for perfection, but just be comfortable with who you are and where you are in this present moment. And that can take a lot of weight off. I think that was one thing I had to struggle with also, wanting to be the best of what you can be, but sometimes just being who you are and where you are, it's okay.
Yep.
Right. Because could how do you say your name? Kadada?
Kidada.
Kidada. It's true because I know even for my mother, like I try and do everything the way she lived her life.
Yeah.
She
Mhm.
lived a fantastic life, a great businesswoman and all. And so I know the way we kept a house, the way she kept a house. So how she lives now, I try and still do that,
Right.
so that she's comfortable, because people in dementia, some folks think they're like, they don't know, they lost everything. They haven't.
Mhm.
They have feelings. It's just that they can't verbally express themselves unless they slow all the way down and they have another language than our language. So I do try to do things perfectly the way that she lived her life.
Right.
And that's hard,
Absolutely.
yeah, yeah.
This is awesome. Awesome. Um, Savannah, tell us what category?
I will choose my career.
Okay. Let's see. I am successful because.
Hmm.
There.
I am successful because I am on the path to where I want to be in my career. I haven't reached the goal yet, but I'm still on the path. So I consider that to still be successful.
Good, good, good. Excellent. All right. This is wonderful.
Not giving up. You're
That,
not giving up.
Right.
oh,
Not giving up. I took a turn. Thankfully, sometimes things happen to us or for us that we don't recognize as a blessing. I worked in telecommunications for 20 years and got laid off. I didn't really want to be there, but it was a great job. I wanted to be in higher education, and I probably would have never moved to higher education if I wouldn't have gotten laid off from telecommunications. So I'm in higher education now, not exactly where I want to be, but I'm on that path. So again, I consider that to be successful. I'm on my way.
so this divine intervention seems to be coming around and around and around. Wow.
Absolutely.
In so many different ways. Rupa, I just feel like you're waiting. You're waiting. Tell me.
I'll go with my career as well.
Okay. All right. My greatest impact has been.
Mm.
Ooh, this is a tough one. I think in my career, I start where I am now. I'm a board certified behavior analyst. So I work with teachers who support students with such special needs. And I think taking this role is definitely something that's helping our students district wide. I started off as a teacher, but I think switching positions to take on this role is a bigger impact because now I'm serving students all over the district. I'm talking to so many different teachers. So instead of just supporting my students in my classroom, I'm in 11 different buildings. And I'm touching the lives of so many different students indirectly and directly. And I'm making such an impact by supporting those teachers who are then passing on to our students and our kiddos. So I think that has been a huge impact of change, and I hope that I can continue to pass on some of what I think we need within our schools, in my practice and our kids.
Now, are you working in the inner school district, or are you elsewhere?
I'm in a public school setting. I'm in East Brunswick Public Schools, actually.
Okay, all right. Challenge? Is there a challenge there,
I'll take that one.
or not so much?
I'll take that one.
You want to take that one?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Rupa, you want to talk a little bit more about the challenges there, or do you want to, uh, let's move on to Sierra?
Um, the challenges, it's 11 school buildings. That's a big challenge. Typically, for people in my position, we have at least one person in each building, but there's one of me in 11 buildings. So that is the biggest challenge. And I think trying to overcome that is something that I'm learning to do now, which is helping me develop myself as a professional. Like, how can we do more district-wide professional development instead of me just talking to these teachers all separately? So I think the biggest challenge is just resources. But I think that shouldn't stop you from reaching your goals, and continuing to be solution oriented is something that I'm trying to focus on, and something I've always focused on in any of my challenges in life.
Awesome.
Can I ask you a question,
Yes,
Rupa?
yes.
How do you address your challenges when there are, like, say for instance, a budgetary restrictions or financial resources? What are some ways that you overcome by having 11 school district, 11 buildings? I know that's stretching you thin. How do you overcome some of those issues that you might be presented with?
Support from like all of my colleagues. That is really the only way that I've been able to make such an impact. You have to keep those professional lines like really collaborative, and I really just saying like, hey, we're doing this for the kids. We've been times where there's like no substitute, aid, and I'm like, you know what? Guess what we have to do? We're going to make a rotating schedule. I'm going to sit in from 9 to 10. You sit in from 10 to 11, and we just work together, so that we can fill those gaps, because there are some things that we can't control, but we're not just going to say like, hey, nobody's going to sit and work with the kids today. We're going to find solutions to that. So I've been really able to lean on the support of other professionals and team members, to help overcome that. Instead of me coming in, once a week, maybe I can only come in once a month, but I'm going to ask this other team member who's maybe a school psychologist to come in and do what I typically do, on a different day. But it's all about the kids, and as long as everyone keeps that at the forefront of their mind, people are willing to put up that effort, for the students.
Excellent. Sierra, you had a comment, or you wanted to select a category.
Yes, I'm sorry. I thought you were asking who wanted to take challenges, but actually, I'll renege on that. I would like to do the my love and relationships one.
Okay. All right. Let's see. Um, I have grown the most in what way?
Oh, my area of honesty and intentionality. So I don't.
Mm.
I'm not currently dating, but even when people or guys try to ask me on a date, I literally would ask them what are your intentions?
Very good.
What intention do you have?
That's the first question you ask?
No, like
Very
seriously.
I
good.
love it. I
Like
absolutely
seriously,
love it.
off rip, I'm telling you. And I was so proud of myself. I want to say like 3 months ago. No, it was a little bit longer because I've been doing this whole journey. But someone inquired to, take me out on a date. And I was just honest. I was literally honest, and I was like, you know what? Where I'm at currently, I'm in no position to be dating anyone. If that changes in the near future, I will absolutely let you know. But right now, I just don't. At this juncture, I just don't have any genuine interest to like go out, because I'll be lying to myself, and I don't want to do that to you. And I was so proud because the old me would have been like, okay, yeah, let's go out for drinks, and then probably just let it dwindle away. But so I've been very, very. I've grown so much in being intentional and being honest with myself. I have this analogy that I adopted like a little over a year ago called road trip me. And I realized that I had like this epiphany that I know earlier I was saying how the younger me would be proud of the me that I am right now. But I had this whole like epiphany, or this kind of like vision, that I was like in my car and I'm like setting off to take like this long road trip, and I stopped to a gas station, and as I'm leaving to go on my journey, I see somebody at like a bus stop, right? So me being the person that I am, I offer them a ride. Come to find out, it's me. Literally, it's me. And I'm like, oh, okay. Like, so I let me in the car, and I'm only on mile marker like number 5, and I have like 5,000 more miles to go. And me is looking at me like, girl, we got a lot of catching up to do. You got a lot of learning to do, you know. And I have so like an opportunity to sure pick up other people along the way and put her in the back seat and put them in the front seat, like all this stuff. And I'm like, yeah, no, I don't want to do that. Let's just rock out. We're gonna learn everything about each other that we need to know. I'm gonna take care of you. I'm gonna, you know. So that's the spot that I'm in right now. I know that was a lot to probably grasp, but in my head it
No,
makes
but it
sense.
was.
No,
Was I the only
I
one?
almost want to take the trip with you.
I mean, was I the only one that was shocked by her intentionality? That, you know, she's
I was.
like, look, if you're
I
not
was.
serious, let's not even do this.
Yeah, let's not even put
I
Absolutely.
love that. Oh,
Thank
That's
you.
that's some
we
great
should
advice.
all be saying that on the
That's
first
great
date.
advice.
Thank you.
What are
Excellent.
your intentions?
Yeah, it took some time
Yes.
for me to get there, but we're here now and I'm rocking out with it.
That's
So
Right.
when my father was alive, he used to do just what you did. The boy, if it was a boy, even if it was just going to be a friend,
mm-hmm.
he would take him in another room. Sundays
Mm-hmm.
was his day to watch all the sports.
Mm-hmm.
He would ask him all these crazy questions, like, "What do you want with my daughter?
Mm-hmm.
She can't cook. She can't clean, and you know." And he's telling him all these things. So what would either happen? The boy would either look at me and like, I'm out of here, or he would come back. And the words that you used and said reminded me of my dad.
Mm.
So
Mm.
what you're doing now is wonderful. And
Mm.
it's like a lot of things that were done in the past are recycling themselves
Yes.
today.
Yes.
Everything that everyone goes through is not really new.
Right.
It may be new to you,
Mm-hmm.
but everything that you go through has been in this world for a long time.
Or yes. I can
So
attest.
now, Diane, why don't you select a category?
Okay, my career.
Okay. I've learned that.
I've learned that my career of nursing, I not only liked it, but I loved it. And I worked in many, like, I worked in the medical field. I helped start an oncology unit at St. Peter's years ago when they felt like cancer patients should not be together. But
Mm.
when we took care of a 31-year-old young woman who was dying of a brain tumor, the love that her and her husband had, he would come every night after work and squeeze in that little bed with her until she went to sleep. And when she passed, it touched everybody.
Mm.
And I just, you know, I got tired of looking at all of that because it's painful. And we as nurses needed to know how to help people that are going through the transition of death.
Mm.
And so I worked on oncology for years, and I enjoyed it because I could assist my patients with the transition of going to the bridge to the other side. Death is a part of life here. And I know this gets into belief and faith and everything, but my faith is in God, and it helps you. And even you know, the Lord leads you in what to say to people. You can't say everything to everybody. But nursing is a field that will balance you in other areas of your life. And when patients that I took care of 30 years ago can remember me, when I'm in the doctor's office and they're in the doctor's office, and they can remember the care that was given to them that many years ago, it's precious and special. And all the things, everything that you all are saying that you're trying to be successful in is the same thing. You need to know that you know that you know that the profession that you're trying to achieve and succeed in is that you love it, that you enjoy it. And like I think one woman said she worked for 20 years and then I guess maybe the job just laid her off or whatever. Did you love that job? Did you really want that job? Sometimes
Well,
we
I
get
actually did love the job, but I
uh-huh.
did want to do something else.
Okay, so that worked out.
Yeah, it did.
You
Savannah,
know,
we're going to
and
ask.
that happened.
I think everyone's had a chance to go around except for Shavana. So we're going to ask you to pick a category.
Okay, so I'll say my challenges.
Okay. In my lowest moment.
Ooh, in my lowest moment, I pray.
Girl, you better come on, because I was about to say.
All right now.
That's it. I mean, what more can you do? I pray at the high points too, but when it gets low and low, that's all you
Yeah,
can do is pray.
don't
Seek
start nothing
God.
up in here. Yeah.
So in your lowest moments, you pray. And then what happens? What's
I
next?
find peace. Um, Sometimes things don't change, but my disposition change. Again, I find peace. I'm able to seek God for the resolution in my lowest point, seek God for answers, for processes, steps, information on how to get out of that low point. But at most, I find peace.
Amen. Amen.
Amen.
Like someone.
Well, I want to be like y'all ladies one day because I cry.
That's what I was going to say.
Me and you, Rupa, me and you.
Yeah, we'll be there with the tissues.
Yes, cry. And
Well,
sometimes
you
you
know
kick and
what?
scream. You kick and scream too sometimes.
Yeah.
It's healthy. You need that sometimes.
Well, you know what? I mean, I don't know. I don't want to cut you off, Shavana.
No, I was gonna say, it's funny. Sometimes I want to cry and I can't. I remember going through something and I got on the other side of it and I asked God, I was like, well, God, can I cry now? Because that was tough.
Oh,
And
that's
he was
so
like, but
precious.
why? And
Right.
I want to cry, but I know that if it starts, I'm gonna cry for a long time about a lot of stuff.
Yes, yes. One of my challenges is I cry when I'm angry, and it frustrates me
Yeah.
so bad because people think that I'm trying to go off on you, and I'm just bawling tears, and you thinking that you hurting me. No, you're making me angry. I want to shake you. And it's just such a bad, it's a bad thing, but emotions have a funny way of showing up sometimes.
I don't hear anything.
I didn't hear you.
You couldn't hear me?
No, what did you say? No, Shavana.
Shavana can't hear. She can't hear nobody. Shavana can't hear us.
Can you hear anything now?
I don't hear anything.
Oh, wow.
Oh, geez. Okay. I want to ask all of you a question. Maybe this isn't you. Maybe it's some people, maybe it's some girls and not you, but there are some women who have a really difficult time saying what they're good at, saying how they feel, saying what they need, regardless of who it's to or what that need is or who they need it from. For example, I can say that I am extremely gifted at organizing. And some people might say, well, that's being proud or being too egotistic. Do you agree with that?
No.
No.
But like we should all know our strengths, and
Hmm.
that's not being boisterous. It's just stating facts.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Does everyone agree with that?
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Yes,
You want to have that
yes.
confidence and also exude that as well.
Right.
So we should be confident. We should know ourselves well enough to be able to say who we are, what we need, and when we say it, it's not where we're offensive, but we're
Mhm.
making it clear that we are women and that we have needs and that we've accomplished as much as we have, and therefore we're deserving
Mm-hmm.
of whatever that might be. Do you agree with that?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
we should, but everyone is not able to.
Hmm.
So if I can just like intervene on what you were saying from a HR standpoint, I think I found that as my biggest struggle, negotiating my salary. I would always just accept what they
Hmm.
offered me,
Mm-hmm.
and I would never want to brag about myself. I would never talk about my skills,
Mm-hmm.
my accomplishments. But I'm noticing as women, that's how we stay behind the
Mm.
salary gap. We don't speak up for ourselves because it has been culturally taught to us that you're bragging or you're showboating. But no, we need to. You need to talk about what you do because else nobody else will know what you're able to do.
Right.
Right.
And consider it your branding. If
Mm-hmm.
you are great at organizing, then that needs to be your brand. I wouldn't have known you were a great organizer if you don't speak on it.
Right.
So, how else do we obtain knowledge and information if we don't speak on it? We can have advertisements 1,000 times per minute on our
Mm-hmm.
television, but nobody will have an issue with that. But if we actually wanted to advertise ourselves, it becomes an issue or she's bragging. But no, brag on yourself because if you don't, who else will?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Agree with that.
Very true.
And
Okay.
you have to know how to get your money, ask for your money. No,
Absolutely.
have to. A lot of
You
I
have
find a
to.
lot of young women they have their education, went to college. I've heard two or three of them, sit in an interview and don't know how to ask for their money.
Mm.
Hmm.
You have to know
Mhm.
your worth. It's knowing your worth.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Knowing your worth,
Amen.
that is
Knowing what?
so very good. Audrey, who was unable to make it tonight, said that you should be confident in your gift, in whatever that gift is.
Absolutely.
And you should
Mhm.
know your worth. And because you know your worth, you won't accept anything less than that. And Sierra has already said that. And that may mean that you may spend some time alone. But now let me ask the ladies who are married. How do you stake out your worth? Kadada, how do you stake out your worth? How do you make it clear for yourself, for your spouse, for your children that the importance of that?
So I think I used to be very passive. I would let my children and my husband just like get away with things. I eventually started speaking up for myself and telling them I do not like when they do that. I do not like when, this happens. I think speaking up and just communicating what your expectations are, the same as if you were in, your employment, you're going to set your expectations and what's going to be allowed and what's not. And I have found that that has worked for us. It has cleared up a lot of miscommunications, especially when you're from two different backgrounds in that relationship. My husband was raised Islamic, I was raised Christian. And even with like, certain practices in between the culture, it's like, no, I'm a full time working mom and I'm not going to be the one that's always cooking, always cleaning, always doing laundry. You're going to help me with that. And as long as you make those expectations clear that, I used to do it all. I would run right off of work and I would come home and start dinner and then make a schedule to clean up because, I believe that women had to do these things. But
Mm-hmm.
guess what? Women are also working and being providers and breadwinners also. So I think that we have to take a cultural shift on that and be like, listen, we need some help. And I think it's okay to ask for help and outside of the home.
So how do you communicate that? How do you communicate? I know we're communicating, but how do you communicate?
So I
Any,
used to
anyone?
communicate loud. Oh, I'm a.
No, yeah, but
Oh,
anyway,
okay.
how do you, in what vein, in what tone, in what way do you communicate what you need, regardless of whether you're in a relationship or not, so that you don't come across as being overbearing?
Mhm.
How do you communicate and at the same time get your point across?
I used to yell and be mad, and what's the name? I realized that that wasn't helping nobody, and I was getting a sore throat all the time. So now I write it down. I write it down in a letter, sort of like what Sierra does with the journaling. I'll write it down and I'll just present it to him, like in a letter envelope. He could take it to work. You can process it when I'm not around, and I have time to allow the process, and then we come back and talk about it at dinner. Like we'll have a dinner with just us without the children, and then we can
Oh,
come back, and that has helped us, because with the two of us going at it, we weren't getting nowhere. I had to learn my tone. Everyone in my family is loud. We are a loud individual bunch. And so just naturally talking loud, I had to even realize that my demeanor, when I'm just naturally talking, can seem offensive. So I've tried to lower my tone and soften it so it can be embraced. And I would try to say it as if the way I want somebody to say it to me, because I'm sensitive and I get offended very easily. And I have to realize, well, if I can get offended, if it was said to me, would I have gotten offended?
I'm taking notes over here.
Right. And you know what that is?
That is
That's grace.
awesome.
That's what the definition of grace is. And you only learn it by experience and trial and error. So
Mhm.
yeah. It sounds like you ladies are just emotionally intelligent, but we normally are, right? Women are much more in tune with themselves and how they feel. And that is a good thing because you then know what your expectations are, especially when you're involved in a relationship or going into that relationship. But I want to change gears just briefly in the time that remains, and then want to give each of you an opportunity to share what's on your heart, and that is this self care that's being talked about so much.
Mhm.
And what I love so much is to hear young people, and I'm not going to say specifically, Rupa, what it was, but I learned that millennials, folks between the ages of say 25 and 35, have this really wonderful way of looking at life. They have their lives. I grew up in a time when you didn't have much of a life apart from your spouse,
Mhm.
and that you were supposed to be with your spouse, and you weren't to hang around with women who weren't married. That wasn't a good thing. But what I learned was that there are people who actually go on vacations, not with
Right.
their significant other, but they live their own life, and they have that wonderful balance. And it's like so awesome. It's like, why did we know to do these things? And that's part of self-care, right? It's part of
Yeah.
being balanced and making sure that everything concerning you, your mind, your body, and your soul are being taken care of. And I just love that. Rupa, talk to me a little bit about this self-care, and anyone else who wants to share. I just think
Can
it's
I
wonderful.
start with the self-care? Because I was just thinking about that today. I
Yeah.
went and got my nails done and my feet done. And oftentimes we say that, when we self-care, we go get our nails done, our feet done, and maybe a massage. But I think you hit on some of the topics already that are also very important in self-care, that we take care of ourselves mentally, emotionally, and we are loyal to our own selves. I find that I'm sometimes loyal to a fault to other people, places, and things, and not putting myself and my needs in that space of loyalty. Um,
Mm,
there are some things that I need, but as a wife and a mother, I find, and so many other things to other people, I find that I put myself behind all of that.
Absolutely.
But in the more current days, I'm finding myself to be loyal to myself, to be loyal to my needs, my desires, my career changes, even vacations and things like that. Self care for me is so much more than, again, nails done and feet done. And I used to. I'm a mother of four, so I would steal away at any time and go and have dinner by myself. A lot of people can't do that.
Mhm.
I will do it in a heartbeat because if I have four kids and I have a minute, I don't have time to look for somebody who's free. So I will take myself, and I consider that self care. But I realized as time progressed that self care is more than a meal and a nails done and a
Mm,
massage. But I have to be loyal to myself and my needs and my desires and what I want for my career path.
Oh,
I
absolutely.
have a saying that
beautiful.
oh, I'm sorry.
Beautiful. Go ahead. I just said it's beautiful. Yes, go ahead.
I have a saying that I always say, and it's that self care isn't an emergency medication. It's a
Mhm.
necessity and a
Right.
lifestyle and a practice, a daily
That's right.
lifestyle and daily practice. So a lot of
Mhm.
times we result to, or the branded self care Sunday, it's self care Sunday. I'm, going to do whatever I need to do, or self care Saturday because it's a branded term, but it's really whatever your spirit needs on whatever given day or whatever lifestyle that you have. Like some people work very, very long, hectic days, and some people have careers that are a little less wary on their, their mental or whatever. But however you show up in your everyday life, your spirit might need the opposite. So if you're doing a lot of something, you obviously need less of that. If you want to go for a bike ride because you've been around too many people and you need to just have time
Yeah.
to yourself, that's fine. Or you haven't seen anyone and you need to be with people, then that means you need to go where a lot of people are. It just all depends. And if that looks like going with other people or going by yourself or whatever, it's very variant. So yeah, I absolutely agree. It's not just tending to the physical things, but sometimes it looks like having a sit down with yourself. Like, how are we doing? What
Mm,
got on your nerves this week? Okay, how can we make sure we set or create a boundary so that doesn't happen next week? Or what are some things that need to be tended to? Like, it's more than a
mm,
bath, it's more than trying a new meal, as you said, Shavana. Like,
mhm.
it's so many different things.
I
Ruth,
want
what do
to
you do? Mhm.
say one thing that you just said there, Sierra, which is something that I'm learning is also part of self care. You said set a boundary as well, because I think that is something that I've always struggled with. I'm very much a person who wants to help others and will go out of my way and put my needs behind other people. But I think setting boundaries is also a part of self care. But what I'm typically doing is, I mean, I go get my nails done. I spend my time to myself. I go on vacations also. That I really wanted to tune into what are the things that make me happy, which is fitness, eating right, and vacations and family. So making time for all of those things. Like I set a goal of, hanging out with my family at least, once a month, twice a month, traveling 4 times a year. Like these types of things are things that I've been doing and have kept me happy. And, I think that keeps me at peace as well. But I do want to start setting that boundary too, Sierra.
Yes.
I like that you said that.
Yes,
So important.
it allows you to show yourself that you can trust yourself. So you create a
Mhm.
level of trust with yourself.
Mm,
Now, millennials, they're quite different. I work a lot with them doing real estate. They're a whole different animal. I mean, they don't. I mean, if they don't like the job because it doesn't bring happiness, they're not going to stay there long because
mm-mm.
it brings happiness. And I got to
Mhm.
give it to you.
Yeah.
That's something. Selling
Yeah.
homes to them. They're telling me what they want, and they do not. They don't settle. They have boundaries. Just
I
Cal,
think
you know I'm
millennials
laughing at
look
you.
for jobs for fun, and we just kind of work. We got a job, we kind of go with it, and they just
yeah.
browse the.
Wait a minute, Cal. I'm over here laughing with you because I was raised by my grandmother who had, was at the same job for like 30 years, right? And here it is. I'm actually still considered the millennial. I'm like the second to last year of the millennials category. And it was like, I had a job with the state government, civil service commission. Nope, that's not good enough for me. Left. Went to Trenton Board of Education. It's not good enough for me. I'm gone. Hunted in Central. Nope, definitely not okay. Now I'm in New York. And it's like, you know what? If we're not happy, we're going to go, because that's
Mhm.
what we know our value and what we can
Mhm.
bring to your organization.
And that is why I say, when I see young people not going after their money, that's the second part.
That
Get
is.
your money, learn how to ask for your money. That is so
Mhm.
important. And I'm not saying money is, it's not the most important thing, but your worth is. And if you don't ask for your money, you can't bring your mother and father to ask for it for you. See,
Absolutely.
you gotta know how to ask for that money.
That's
And
right.
millennials, because happiness is so important to them,
Mhm.
ask for
It's
your
a
money.
worth to us. I'm about to say,
Right.
even if we don't get the money, like I'm working for a nonprofit now that definitely doesn't pay, the same as a private would. But
Right.
I have so much more comfortability where I am right now that it's worth it to me. And to me, that was worth it. So I think at a certain point you kind of reevaluate, like going back to the self-care. My husband and I, we go on separate vacations. We do family vacations. We do a couple vacation, and then we both do a separate vacation.
Mhm.
And that has worked for us. It is needed for us. He has his own friends that he was with that, he knew prior to me. I've had my girlfriends that I've had before. And just because we got married did not mean that we had to cut those ties and only click to one another. We found a way to incorporate his life, my life, and then we have ours, and then our family. And it just works for us. You choose to go where you go, I go where I go. And it could be like a 3-day weekend trip. It's nothing like super long, like, single trips as we would take with the family or as a couple. But we still give ourselves those options to just breathe without the other person.
Yeah, that's great. That's great.
Mhm.
I just love this conversation. Is there any last closing remark that you would have for each other and for those who may be watching?
I'm going to actually challenge everyone that's here today. I'm going to challenge you to, before you go to bed, um, I want to say maybe for the next 3 days or so, just to get yourself into the swing of it. Every day before you go to bed, acknowledge at least 3 things that you're proud of yourself for. So tell yourself, I'm proud of you for, or I'm proud that you did whatever. And even if it's like the most minuscule thing, it's still a thing. So that's a challenge that I'm going to leave you with.
Accepted. Accepted.
That's it.
Anyone else?
I just
I,
want to say that this was very interesting, and it was not at all what I expected with the title that says Girls Like Me. But it was also interesting meeting all of you. And in reality, each and every one of you, what you're doing and have already done is you have a balance in your life that you've created. And everyone's balance is not going to be the same. Everyone's relaxing time is not going to be the same. It's what works for you. And therefore it's just the energy that came out of this whole topic.
absolutely.
It was fun,
It
as
was.
well as, it was different because we didn't know really what it was going to be about, like a surprise. And I just want to say that I enjoyed each of you, and I hope each of you get your success in the areas that you want, because as long as you don't quit, you can achieve anything with God's help. You can pray in the bad times, and as one said, and you can pray and rejoice in the good times. And the blessing is that we're all still here,
Yes.
because life can be gone in a minute.
That's so
We could
true.
not be here tonight
That's so
after this show, but we're here now. And I'm going to accept the young ladies challenge.
Challenge.
And then what do you want us to do after those 3 days?
Oh no, I was just challenging you for 3 days. You can do it for just one day. You can do it for a month or 2 months, whatever. Just get in the habit of reminding yourself that you're proud of your efforts. That's all.
Mm,
Whatever
Thank
that
you.
looks like.
Yep. Thanks,
okay.
Diane, for all that. Anyone else? Anyone else? Closing remarks.
I would just say that I would encourage each of you to learn and practice the art of saying no. As the
Yeah.
pandemic seems to be behind us and the world is open and fully up and
Mhm.
things, events are happening, it's okay for you to say no and not to feel pressured to have to be a part of everything. And that's part of that self-care, that it's okay for you to say no and not feel bad about saying no.
Right.
Yeah. Takes practice, but it's
It,
possible.
Yes,
it is
does.
It
practice.
is possible. Anyone else? I am so very happy that you all agreed to participate. And I thought this was just wonderful. The discussion was wonderful. I've learned so much. And I'm encouraged by all of you ladies. You know, my goal was that not only would we learn something that we didn't know, but that we'd be a blessing to those who may be listening. You know,
Absolutely.
we are all different, but it's amazing when you think about how much alike we are. And
Absolutely.
we are very much alike. And God made it so that our differences make us as women so important and so vital and
Yes.
so exuberant when we're together. I mean, just watching everyone talking was just such a blessing. And thank you so very much.
Yeah.
Thank you for orchestrating it.
Thank
Yes.
you
Yeah.
so
Thank you
very
for
much.
having me. I enjoyed it. Thank you.
You are
Yeah.
so welcome. And what I would encourage you all to do is to share Arby's Kitchen Talk the third Thursdays of every single month. This was a special event because I was led to have women of different uh, age groups to participate because we need to be able to learn from one another. And I think we will.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And my heart is so glad. Have a blessed evening. And I'm sure we'll be talking really soon. All right.
Thank
Absolutely.
you.
Thank you so
Have a
much.
good
Bye
evening.
bye, everybody.
Bye,
Bye.
everyone.